Hi, Ingram Jones here. I haven't done one of these thought videos for a while. Been so busy doing interviews and doing live shows. I haven't done one of these sort of sit back and chat kind of videos where I'm thinking about, I don't know, the sport of boxing. But I do want to talk about one particular topic, and it is that term boxing. What does boxing mean? Now, when I was taught, I used to box, I was told boxing was about the art of hit and not getting hit, the art of self-defense, the art of making a person miss and making them pay, the art of backing a person up and beating them up, the art of countering, of somebody making bringing somebody forward, making them make a mistake or counter them, drawing somebody forward by feinting, bring them forward and then countering with a good shot. That is how I was brought up in boxing, to hit and not get hit. Minimize the amount of times that somebody makes contact on you and maximize the amount of times you land on them. And the other thing you're told is you're not paid overtime, so get the opponent out there as quick as possible. All is about, as I said, maximizing the amount of times you land punches and minimizing the amount of times they land punches. At no point in time was I told that my personality had anything to do with it. No time at all was I told boxing had anything to do with my domestic life. The only thing that mattered was that I was diligent, that I turned up to training, and that I was 100% focused to my craft. That I turned up at weighing time in shape, and that I gave the best that I could of myself in the ring. Win, lose or draw, I gave the best performance I could. And there's much to say this. I've kind of got confused ever since I've stopped boxing as to what people perceive boxing to be today. Now, for example, I hear a lot of people go on about how Floyd Mayweather is this and Floyd Mayweather is that. But if you look in the dictionary and you look at the definition of what boxing is, in today's society, Floyd Mayweather is the perfect example of a fighter that hits and doesn't get hit. The perfect example of somebody who lands more punches on somebody than they land on him. The perfect example of somebody countering, backing somebody up and beating them up. He's the perfect example of that. That's boxing. That's what they call the sweet science, because there's a science behind it. You know, how you make a person miss, how you make them pay, the movement. Rigondeaux as another one of those fights, makes you miss, makes you pay. Looking back, Pernell Whitaker, another great defensive genius. Sugar Ray Leonard, hand speed, power, movement, footwork, and showmanship. There are three fighters there that we're talking about, or three boxers that we're talking about. But if you listen to a lot of people today online, they'll say, oh, Mayweather's boring, Mayweather's a runner, Mayweather's this and Mayweather's that. And if you listen to these people and then you ask them, what sort of fighters do you like? They'll bring names up like Arturo Gatti or Provodnikov, guys who have no defense, no defensive skills, guys who are limited in head movement, plodders, and are quite the opposite of what boxing is. They are anti-boxing because they take about 10 punches to land their one punch. They have no regard for defense, and they don't care how many punches you land on them as long as they can land their own. That for me isn't boxing. I don't know what you call it. You have to maybe call it anti-boxing, fighting, slugging, but it's not the sweet science. So then what is it? If you're going to say to me, okay, Mayweather's crap in this generation, who are you going to put to compare Floyd Mayweather to? Now, it's very difficult to compare somebody who's beaten 22 world champions and still remains unbeaten over a 20-year period to somebody who is yet to fight in a big fight. People I talk about as Gennady Golovkin, somebody who is relatively untested. And I think by his age, Golovkin's age, he was already Mayweather's already world champion and had beaten some good contenders on the way up. You know, whereas Gennady Golovkin could be a good fighter or great fighter in the future, we still don't know how good he is because of the limited opposition. So a guy that you could probably mention is Sergey Kovalev. He can punch, but he's not just a wild puncher. He can box, he can fight behind a jab, he can throw punches from different angles. Okay, he's not got the greatest footwork in the world, but then again, he's fighting some of the top fighters in his division. So he's a guy that you could put as, when Mayweather retires, as a guy that people could look forward to and say, this guy's a good fighter. A lot of people don't like Rigondeaux because of his style. But I think if Rigondeaux could speak English, maybe he'd sell more tickets, maybe. But the fact that he's a fighter that wants to land his own punches and doesn't want to get hit too often, again, he is boxing. So there's two trains of thought here. There is the boxing brigade and the anti-boxing brigade. The boxing brigade, those who appreciate people who hit and don't get hit, appreciate defensive skills and footwork and mastery of get in and out landing punches, fighting behind a good jab, making you miss, making you pay, feinting, showmanship, versus the anti-boxing brigade, which is fight with your face, lack of technique, lack of head movement, lack of footwork, swinging wildly, getting hit with a whole load of punches, and stopping punches with your face instead of your hands and your arms, your fists. So I think that's what it is. Should personality have anything to do with the fact that a guy is a good fighter? Oh, I don't like Floyd Mayweather because of domestic violence. That's got nothing to do with what he does inside of the ring. And Floyd Mayweather, we know a lot of people give him flack about the Pacquiao fight. But while they give him flack about the Pacquiao fight, Floyd has always fought that way. He's always fought the way he fought against Pacquiao. So why did people think it's a super fight? Why did people think it was so exciting? It's going to be such an exciting event. It was the media that hyped it up. And those people that believed that somehow Pacquiao was going to do something exceptionally well. You knew that Mayweather was going to be a guy that hits and doesn't get hit. A guy that is going to frustrate the life out of Manny Pacquiao. It was down to Manny Pacquiao, who was the attacking fighter, the aggressive fighter, to make the excitement happen. He was unable to do that because he wasn't skilled enough to be able to do those things, to engage Mayweather in a certain manner. So this is not me defending Floyd Mayweather, it's just saying it as it is. So I guess you have to make a decision whether you're anti-boxing or boxing. What are you? And be honest about it. Be honest and say, well, you know what? I am anti-boxing. You know what? I don't like seeing guys who've got good defenses. I like to see a guy stand and have a tear up every fight. I don't care very much at the fact that he's not fought very good quality caliber opponents. I just think he's a beast. You know, the fact he hasn't fought anybody of any decent note, and he's got a record of 30-0, and he's got 30 knockouts. That doesn't matter to me. He's just got the unbeaten record. That means he'll beat anybody. Not the fact that he's never been tested. That doesn't matter. Well, that's anti-boxing. Whereas boxing will say, you know what? This guy's yet to be tested yet. This guy is good. He's got some skills there. We need to see how he does against better opposition. The anti-boxing says, it doesn't matter. As long as he gives it a good old tear up, that doesn't matter. If he's got 10 losses in the record, he can have a good old tear up. Again, so these are my thoughts on this particular subject. So is it as cut and dried as that? Is it really as cut and dried as anti-boxing and boxing brigade? Is that what it is? Or is there a bit more to it than that? Am I being, or you could be in a bit in the middle where you can appreciate the boxing skills, but you lack excitement every so often. Well, there's an example. Antonio Barrera and Morales. Great fight. Both guys, you know, like to attack, but you've seen Barrera fight in the front foot, you've seen Barrera fight in the back foot. All-round fighter, you know. But he fought a guy, Morales, who just brought the feet. So at foot, it made Barrera had to fight back. Arturo Gatti, Mickey Ward, you knew both guys just came forward. They lacked in the skill department. They didn't have great fancy footwork. They didn't have blinding great left jabs or work behind a good jab for defense. What they did have is two guys that had lots of big heart and wanted to go forward and just engage. Anti-boxing. Again, it's your call, but I'd love to know your thoughts on this. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, leave your comments. I'm waiting to hear this one. I'm out. Take care.